I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I will be your hero, your strength, anything you need. We could keep going, but let's not do that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Astound Yourself Dating Show. My name is Richard Francois, your dating strategist. And with me tonight, I have none other than my illustrious co hostess and the intuitive matchmaker herself. What is your name, illustrious co hostess?
My name is Elaine Saunders.
That's right. She left us wondering there for a second. Is she going to say her last name, Elaine Saunders?
Saunders.
Yes, everybody.
What to think
Elaine
about it?
Saunders is in the house with us tonight. And tonight, we are going to talk about promises, but not just any old promises. Contracts. Stick around. If this is your first time here, be sure to like the page so that you can see more of our content. We're trying to make the page more popular, so be sure to like it. Say hello to us like Tammy here, our friend just said. Tammy is a regular on the show. Hello, Tammy. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show.
Oh, he's got some popcorn popped.
Oh, she's got some popcorn.
That's
now,
right.
I'm all the way over here. I don't have popcorn. I feel jealous, but eat some popcorn for me, Tammy. That sounds
popcorn.
delicious.
Here you go, Richard.
That sounds yummy. Elaine, what do you think about promises in a relationship? Are promises important?
You know, remember when you were a kid and people gave each other promise rings?
I heard of that. Nobody ever wanted to give me one of those.
Nobody?
I didn't always have this face with a beard, you know. I was a kid with like just my whole face looked like my forehead. So
did you
I
ever
had to grow this beard and mustache before people wanted to promise me anything?
Did you ever give a promise ring to anybody?
No, I didn't know what that was. We don't have those things in Haiti.
Ah. Well, you know, from childhood, we learn, things like making promises and making commitments. You know, your word is your bond.
Right.
So it's kind of a thing when it comes to relationships and friendships and things of that nature. So, yeah, making a promise.
So promises are important. What about contracts?
Yeah.
Is there a place for contracts and relationships, Elaine? I don't mean marriage, but boyfriend, girlfriend, my boo, my sweetheart. Is there a place for that stuff?
A written contract, like a written legal.
That's right.
Not
That's
legal.
right.
It could be legal. I mean, I guess it could be legal if you.
It could be legal, but let's just talk about that is written out in detail.
Kind of gives me the willies.
The willies, or as he used to say back in the day, the heebie-jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies.
As you also say, creeps. The creeps. That's the creeps for you millennials out there. The creeps.
I mean, if you're in a thing,
a thing.
A thing.
General.
Yeah, we're not calling it a situationship of some sort.
People are general. A thing is too specific, Elaine.
Yeah, a thing. If you're in a thing, a relationship, you're communicating to each other what you're hoping for might come of it.
Yeah.
But to write it down and, well, I mean, I guess it's gotten so bad these days that people are getting so anxious about what might come of it. They feel like they're not being heard to the extent that they have to write it down. And this way they could pull it out and shove it in the other one's face if it doesn't go the way they had hoped or said they wanted, or their expectations don't go the way they had hoped they would go.
Watch your language. This is a family show. Pulling it out and shoving it in one's face. We're not talking about it right now. Goodness gracious, Elaine. Somebody please tell this lady to watch her mouth. My goodness.
What was I thinking?
So I don't know. So
it's tough.
Having a contract to wave in somebody's face and use as leverage, probably not a good idea. Well, we found a couple of articles that apparently just demonstrate this whole idea of contracts that are not even within the confines of a marriage, or Tammy likes my little joke there. The contract, the contract thing that is not even within the confines of marriage seems to be growing in popularity. We're wondering why, but today we're gonna parse through this article. Girlfriend draws up 17-page contract for Tinder flame after dating 2 weeks. Now, this is the title. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, this chick is psycho. What kind of possessive? Meh, 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 meh. This is insecurities, blah, blah, blah. That was just from the title. Now, I know I'm the only person in America who's ever judged an entire article by the title, so forgive me. I know it's just me, but that was my first impression of it. What was your first impression when you just first read the title, Elaine?
It just made me kind of sigh. Here we go again.
Like,
now,
yeah,
kind of thing. And
eye roll.
Yeah, what did we do in Haiti?
Okay. It sounds like this. I'm gonna have to give a whole tutorial on how to make this sound now. So you gotta keep your teeth together and somehow get your cheeks to kind of, you suck your cheeks into your teeth.
Like a chipmunk.
And you gotta point your lips and it made a sound.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that is how we roll our eyes in Haiti. We do not actually roll them. We just go. And if you really want to do it with an attitude, like you do it and you turn your neck. Like you turn your head away. So.
Ridiculous.
Yes. You want to impress your friend from Haiti, say that at the appropriate time. Like they say something that's ridiculous and you want to agree with them on how ridiculous it is, you go, yeah. So.
Well,
that summed up what I first thought when I first read this. But I continued reading on. First of all, she said that she did it as a joke. Could she be just covering up? Maybe, but she said it as a joke. It's a 17-page contract that she presented her Tinder date with after only 2 weeks.
It's a long
2 weeks. So either this is somebody who's really possessive and just really clingy, or they have a really, really good sense of humor together, because she presented it and he goes, no. If she says, I'm just kidding. And he says, no. If you're serious about this, we can talk about this. Let's talk about it. Now, what are some of the points in this contract? 4 main objectives. Honesty. Elaine, is honesty important in a relationship, or can we just lie our way through it?
Well, I guess this is my point. You know, I guess it's gotten so ridiculous that you have to state the obvious.
You're gonna be honest.
Like, oh, by the way, I'd appreciate a little honesty here, you know, and let's put it in writing and let me have you sign off on it.
I have a question.
Sure.
Does this shirt make me look fat? You have to be honest.
Well, on camera, 10 pounds, you know.
So you're saying I look 10 pounds fatter on the
Only
camera?
not in person.
Oh, Elaine, you must not be a good friend. I can't believe you just said that. My feelings are so hurt.
Yeah,
How
but I'm
could you say
honest.
such a
Being
thing?
honest. Okay.
No, but you can't you just be kind and be honest? Why must you say it that way? Why didn't you just say that it was the shirt? I'm so hurt. Your honesty hurts.
That's part of the program, hon.
So now there's the trap, right, of being honest. Are you honest all the way? Are you honest when it's not going to hurt feelings? So we don't know what they specifically meant by honesty here. I'm sure it's in the clause and the details, but the spirit of it is they want a relationship who's honest. Everybody wants an honest relationship until they hear the truth.
You know, Richard, honesty is such a lonely word.
That's right. And it's hardly ever heard. And everyone is so untrue, Elaine. But it's mostly what I need from you.
Okay, I'll sign that. I'll sign on that.
So honestly, so let's take a look here. Let's take a look at. I'm gonna increase the size of my screen here so I can lean in and see what this. Go back to it. Yes, honesty. Or being objective, the act of being fair and transparent in a relationship. This virtue helps in avoiding and controlling fights, frustrations, and unnecessary internalized resentments. So that's great in a, I don't know, in a perfect world. But I've been in fights that started by being with too much honesty. I've been in relationship disagreements that started because of too much honesty. By the way, um, I'll say this to the ladies: sometimes it's better for you to just think what you're thinking, but don't ask us what we think about it. Like if you are at the beach and you feel compelled to ask him if this girl is hotter than she is, just don't ask him. Just don't ask him. Because just the fact that you're calling her a girl means she's already younger, probably hotter than something. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hello, Betty. I think this is Betty's first time watching our show, or commenting at least. Thank you, Betty, for your comment. We're glad to see you here. Don't do it. Any of those questions, why? If there's a chance you might not like the answer, and could you live without the answer? If you could live without the answer, don't ask. Don't ask. Save us both the trouble. So that's what I have to say about honesty. But she advocates for honesty in the contract. This guy's gonna promise to be honest until. What do you say, Elaine?
Until they tear up that contract, I suppose.
Or until honesty goes too far.
Well, this is the thing. We're 2 weeks into a relationship. Isn't that a quality?
The time to lie? Yes, it's the perfect time to lie. This is the time for filters, Instagram. This is when you say you're beautiful all the time. You're handsome. You're so hot. I can't get enough of you. Your breath smells the best in the morning after 9 hours of sleep. This is the time for all that. 2 weeks in. That's what the honeymoon period is for, right? Buttering each other up? No?
Well, it just seems to me, honesty, that's a quality of a person's character. And you can't force somebody to be something they're not innately. If they're not by nature a person who tends to be honest, I don't care what you have them sign. If they're not an honest person, they're going to sign off on being honest, even if they're not. So what's the point? It seems kind of fruitless.
Lie about being honest.
Right?
Shame.
Easy peasy, right? Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm honest.
So I want to hear from you. If you were going to draw a contract, what would be the three most important things you'd want to have on there? You can just type that in the comments as we continue parsing through this article here. Now, again, it does sound like she started out as a joke with the article, but then the new boyfriend was like, oh, sure, we can talk about it. Let's do a 17-page contract, 2 weeks in. Why not?
Well, what happens after you found that article is I found in doing research that this has become a commonplace thing amongst millennials, which I shared with you, and it was a lengthy article. It wasn't, there we go.
Yes.
Hello.
I'm so proud of myself. I read 75% of this lengthy article. And I stayed away for the whole thing.
Was it that boring?
No, it's just I'm not really great with reading long things or short things. I'm better at short things, but reading long things is like, oh my goodness gracious. But I read a good portion of it. Millennials signing on the dotted line and writing contracts for their relationships, and it is becoming more and more of a way people do things. What I find interesting is, well, if you're doing that in a relationship, well, what do you do when you get married? Do you do more of that, or do you not get married at all and just live by this contract and not get the state involved and hope that holds up in the court of law? And that's the thing for me. I think relationships used to be about your spoken word, your promises to each other.
Right.
And sure, there was a little bit of love sprinkled on there. But it was about respect and duty, love, and on a good Wednesday night, even some lust. That was relationships. But now it's becoming about writing things down in contracts and gotchas and what ifs and how abouts.
What's in it for me, and
what's in it for me? What else is in it for me?
What do I get if I give you that? What's
No,
if
no.
I give you this,
What do I get for showing up?
right?
What do I get for showing up and just being my wonderful self? What are you gonna give me? What else are you gonna give me? What more are you gonna give me? And are you gonna love me just for who I am?
And what do I have to give in order to get that?
I think people don't even ask that question as much anymore.
Give something.
People don't even
give something.
See,
Just show up. I just wanted to show up. Here I am to save the day.
People are not really asking, like, you're a matchmaker, Elaine. Let's be real. You're a matchmaker. How often in your matchmaking goings on do you come across somebody who says, well, what do I need to bring to the table? How often does that happen? How often did it happen in the last 2 years?
Once in a blue moon. Those are usually the most spectacular people for me to match. Are the ones that come in to the process and say, I have a lot to give, and I'm just not going to waste it by trying to throw it into this internet mushmash. I need to be I need to be selective, and I deserve, the best of the best. And how can you help me?
So a lot of people are approaching this dating thing backwards by looking for what am I going to get versus what can I bring? What can I give? Can I be a gift?
I've really worked on myself. What concept? I really worked on myself, and I'm matured, and I really know what I bring to the table. I know I can treat someone well. I know that my problems, mental issues, emotional issues, I've kind of resolved them, and I have a clear idea of who I am and what I can be for somebody. That's not what happens in dating today. Unfortunately, you're right. It's, what am I going to get? Who's this person? Are they going to fit my needs? Are they going to be tall enough, short enough, cute enough, rich enough? So, and I laugh because oftentimes the focus is so strong on the person that they want that they have not taken a moment to look at the mirror or have not done any self-examination whatsoever. And I know they're going to be single. I know it's going to be super difficult because I just know I've been doing this a long time.
Asking what's in it for me as the first question is the first step to being single for a while.
Well, you have to go into it kind of knowing that, you've gotten your part of the contract taken care of. So.
Yeah. It's okay. I think we could continue on this, but let's go on to the next piece, the next pillar, so to speak, of this contract: communication. How important is that in a relationship, Elaine? Let's take a look first. So I think a successful. This looks so much like something a lawyer would write. The way it's all laid out, by the way.
Who highlighted it? Is it highlighted?
Like a T-Mobile user agreement.
Yeah. What is this?
I'm thinking about whenever updated user contract. This looks just like it.
I know. Well.
Or objective number 2: a successful and strong relationship is not built in silence. Actually, it is. I think it is.
You would be surprised.
I think it is built in silence.
There's nothing like a little bit of peace and quiet.
Food,
really.
Sex, silence. I am great, man. Let's do it. A back rub to top it off. A back scratch. It is awesome.
It's funny you should say that. Yeah. I mean, you don't discount it. Yeah. I mean, it's important to communicate, but a lot can be communicated with touch.
Agreed.
With the mouth shut.
A lot can be communicated with touch, with the mouth shut, with just So communication. People I think mistake communication for talking, and that's not always true. You can say a lot. You can communicate a lot without talking, and sometimes some of the best things that people get communicated, some of the most memorable things, are done without speech. Some of the things that touch us the most happen without speech. It's that moment at a wedding when you see the bride and the groom kiss, or the groom and the groom kiss, whatever the kind of wedding you're going to. It's that moment when when your puppy is really really happy, and you see your puppy playing with a child, and you go, oh my God, sometimes it's just moments where there's nothing being said, but you're experiencing something or witnessing something. And sure, yes, there are times when it's actually saying something, but I think people often mistake communication for what am I saying, what am I saying, what am I saying, not even how do I listen, how do I listen, how do I listen. So I hope that these two figure that out and navigate it well. But that's not a bad thing to want if you're going to actually write it in the contract. It's not a bad thing to want. It's okay.
Well, there's a lot of, things that go on between couples. Passive aggression, where somebody refuses to communicate, shuts out the other person. So I could see where this woman may have experienced that in the past, and she wants it down on paper, like, hey, you can't refuse to talk to me when you're mad at me. That's not a good thing.
Silent treatment.
Right. There's nothing worse than silent treatment. What do they say? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember over and over and over again, always hearing like the secret to a successful marriage was not to go to bed angry with each other.
That's why we have
that anymore. Yeah, I never hear that anymore.
That's why there's a couch in every house now. So don't go to bed angry. Somebody's gonna sleep on the couch.
It's fun if you could both squeeze on there, though.
I like those kinds of couches. Yes. Now you have a good relationship when you both fall asleep on the couch together. That's a relationship where things are still happening. Yeah. So communication. So what's the next big one? Awareness of partner's needs. Oh, I guess this could go into love language and stuff like that too. This contract should make it easier for us to have a clear understanding of each other's emotional, spiritual, and physical needs. So for me, it kind of kills a little bit of the juice, the zest, as the French say, the je ne sais quoi of the relationship when you have a contract to talk about needs. A contract to talk about needs. That just, I don't know. It seems like the wrong vehicle to deliver the thing being delivered. It's you don't deliver a caress with a sledgehammer.
You don't?
To me, I wouldn't. It depends on what you're into. I mean, if you're a Tin Man, the sledgehammer might be the thing for you. But with this face, I don't think mitt gloves. Thank you very much. Like no sledgehammer here. So to use a contract to discuss your relationship needs, that just seems a little rough for me. I think that isn't there some other way to deliver that? Maybe letters to each other, speaking openly, notes. I don't know, or just that's what dates are for. That's what the actual dates are for, right? Just tell me about what you liked and didn't like, and the last date we had, or maybe not. Don't go into past relationships too deeply. Not at least not at first, but you might say something like, "If you could, what is one thing you think would make every relationship better?" Because when they answer that, they're actually sharing a value of theirs, not really something that's going to be a value to everybody else, but it's really a value of theirs that they would love to see expressed in everyone else. And that's one way to communicate the needs. I'm not sure a contract. I'm never going to stop saying it that way now. Contract. I'm not sure that that's the best way to communicate your relationship needs. What are your thoughts, Elaine?
Well, Karen, she just tuned in.
Welcome, Karen.
Hello. She says that a contract seems like a person is going into it with no trust. And so it does seem like even if you're going to enter into a contract, it does seem like you have to have a little bit of faith in the person. But
you gotta have faith.
Something that the person's going to. But the other thing I do know, and I remember often listening to men's frustration in particular about women expecting men to know what their needs are, as if they were mind readers.
I don't know who started that, when that began, that women expected us to be mind readers.
Mind
We're not
readers.
very good at it.
So I'm not saying it should go in a contract, like sign, sealed, and deliver. You must know my needs. But I'm wondering if she wants him to know the needs and also read her mind in the process, because that's how most women operate. I hate to be gender biased against my own gender, but I know a lot of women get really frustrated with their boyfriends or husbands, but they don't even tell them why they're frustrated or pissed off.
You should know, if he loves me, you should know why I'm frustrated.
Exactly. So I kind of giggle at that strategy. Keep being mad until he figures it out. What's the point of that? So yeah, I could see why someone might say, well,
that is a great way to have your husband find a girlfriend. Stay mad at him until he figures it out.
Yeah. But maybe to a certain extent, having like certain guidelines of how to guide your relationship into a successful relationship, I think I would be on board with that, as opposed to a contract. Does that make sense?
Contract.
Like check in with each other, like to check in and talk about, are we meeting each other's needs? Not that you must meet my needs, but hey, how's it been going? Is there anything I'm not doing for you that I could be doing for you?
And that's very good to be able to have that conversation as a mature relationship.
Right.
I think just as important is to express when needs are being met, especially to us guys. We thrive, when you talk about
I agree.
languages. I believe that for most guys, the two love languages they thrive on the most are physical touch and words of affirmation. You women could get so far with men if you mastered words of affirmation and physical touch. And no, I'm not talking about sexual stuff only. Yes, that's important, but I'm not saying that's if you all just became backflip performing, trapeze artisting, lingerie models. No, you don't have to do all that. But if you mastered physical touch and words of affirmation, you would have guys tearing down your doors to get in relationships with you, not just to get in your pants. Because that is something that most of us crave and don't get a lot of. How many men do you know come from work and go, man, they praise me so much today at the job, babe. You can just go to bed. I don't need to talk to you. How many men come home and say, I can't wait to have my wife come complain to me? No. But if you mastered those two things, I think you would know what to do with yourself, because there'd be so many men wanting to spend good quality time with you, because those needs would be met. So what do you think it is for women, Elaine? What is it that the needs that most women have for men?
As far as feeling like they're not getting their needs met?
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, in dating situations, attention. Women like attention, a little romance, just feeling like they're cherished, not being overlooked.
What does that look like to a guy? Like, if you're going to give a guy specific instructions, like an IKEA manual, what would you tell him to do? What's step 1 and 2 or A and B? What does romance look like?
Well, just to make sure he, checks in with her and lets her know that he's thinking of her in a positive way. He appreciates her too. It's all about people feeling mutually appreciated, not taken for granted. I'm just going to read what Bob has to say. Why so much complication about wants and needs? All studies show the same thing. Most normal boys are hardwired to want a girl that is feminine, fit and cooperative and interesting, not necessarily in that order.
I agree with that generalization, Bob. I think maybe you
cooperative as far as what?
everything.
Cooperate.
Cooperate.
You
No,
must cooperate.
I think I agree with the generalization, Bob. And it's possible that maybe you walked in through part of the show. We're discussing an article where somebody wrote a 17-page contract. She said it was a joke, but she wrote a 17-page contract to her Tinder date, and they began talking about it, and it made the New York Post. So let's see here. Yep, that's the title of the article. Oh, it's from November of last year, and it's just now making the headlines. Or the article is not getting popular for some reason. So yeah, and she had a table of contents. So she really spent a lot of time on this. I want to know how many hours she spent creating this. This could be like a really hilarious school project if she were in college or something when she wrote this. But let's go back to what was the point we're making? Number 3. What was the last thing we're discussing?
The last.
Yeah, awareness of partners' needs. So that's where we were, Bob, when you walked in, and we were discussing needs and depth. I think we've kind of covered it all, though. Anything else about needs that you want to say, Elaine?
I like what Brenda has to say about a woman. One of the things she likes is just kiss before he leaves for the day, like he's gonna take her to bed. Leaves her thinking.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Keeps her thinking about him all day. Gets that gets the boiling.
So
the return home.
I see what's happening here. So I'm gonna say it for you, Brenda. Brenda wants the foreplay to start at 8:05 a.m. That's what Brenda wants. Start it then. You let the thing simmer for a while, and she's wondering when you're gonna come home. Make her miss you before you even leave the house. Brenda, I like it. That is excellent advice.
Bing.
How many husbands do you have? That's advice for somebody who is very happily married or in a relationship, I'm thinking. So, great advice.
Perfect stuff. It's good advice. Men, listen in. Listen up.
Take note, guys. If you're leaving for the day, I'm gonna try this on my girlfriend next time I leave the house. She's single. Yeah. Oh, Elaine, you have to fix that. Brenda is single. Can't we find Brenda some gentleman who kisses well?
I heard a rumor you have a date tomorrow night, and maybe you're going to Milford. Is this true? This is my psychic intuitive skills coming here.
Now that you had any inside information, or you're not spying on Brenda's Facebook or anything, are you?
No, I don't do that.
Okay. Good. I feel better now. For Brenda's safety, I feel much, much better.
Yeah, I didn't troll the page today. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right. So we're gonna pray that works out well, and that this guy becomes the guy who gives you a kiss.
That's right. I'll put in a good word if you want me to. You don't want me to, I won't. I'll tell him
the next
hills.
What is the next part? Oh, clarity and alignment of their intentions. So let's go back to the contract. This contract is vital way towards getting clarity and alignment to along something. I don't know. I guess people are. The article is commenting on the contract. So scroll. No. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, and then there's boundaries. Of course, boundaries are important, and this is one I really like. But let's go back to the clarity of clarity and alignment of their intentions.
Well, this is
I think it's important.
Super important.
I think
nobody does it either. I mean, very few people do it. Very few people. They just kind of get together and they do their thing, and then after a lot of damage has been done, it's like, oh, by the way, I wasn't looking for a serious relationship, or oh, by the way, I don't think I'll ever get married again, or oh, by the way, I'm looking for a committed relationship, and the other person is looking at them like, what?
Yeah.
Committed what?
I heard one time where a guy told me that a woman said to him, well, I don't normally engage in the hanky-panky with a guy who's not my boyfriend. I don't do that. And you know when she told him that?
After the hanky-panky.
The morning after.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
What? No.
That's
You
not when
can't
you
do
break
that.
that news. Yeah. You discussed that before the
Come
hate came.
on.
It's
Come
true.
on.
Yeah, I know.
That's like, you don't tell the restaurant you're allergic to shrimp after you
After you
order
eat the
seafood.
shrimp.
No, no. You
Yeah.
gotta
So,
tell them
yeah,
beforehand.
shame, I mean, I think all of us are kind of guilty of that one. You get caught up in the moment, you get caught up in the lust and the limerence of the whole excitement of the situation, and you don't even know who you're with. You just know they're good looking, and that's it. You're in for the thrill, and you'll sort all that other crap out later.
Yeah, and there is some stuff to be sorted out later. My biggest criticism of the whole idea of the contract is that's a lot to dump on somebody in 2 weeks. Now they're two really young, really good-looking people, so a lot of stuff is being forgiven through the naivete, the youth, and the good-lookingness because of
Yeah,
that. I mean, look at that, right?
hell yeah.
They look good individually, and they look even better as a couple. If you ask me, I think he's a bit better looking guy than she is a good looking girl, but she's still a pretty good looking girl. Um, yeah, look at all these pictures, right? So all this youth and all this good lookingness, you can a lot of stuff is probably being forgiven and being let slide because of that. But I think 2 weeks is overall too quick to be discussing such severe matters in such detail. That stuff
Yeah.
should come out, but I think it's too quick overall. And please, 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 ladies, do not let this inspire you to go present a guy with a contract. Please.
I'll
You
help you
will
write it. I'll help you write
probably
it.
you will probably continue to be single if you present a guy with a relationship contract after 2 weeks.
I don't know. They might be mainstream, and if you
Probably.
by
That's my
by
guess.
Christmas or Valentine's Day,
You know?
it's trending. It's trending.
Yeah. So let's go to the next thing because there's something here that she did that I really like though in the boundaries section. I did not expect that. I thought the school
Boundaries.
contract
What are boundaries?
it's the fence you put around a property to keep the
Okay. All right.
or in this case, understanding each other's boundaries will transform our ability to communicate and help us nip issues in the bud before they overwhelm us. One, saying no, which is very important. I think no is the most underused word in the American male female vocabulary. Saying no. I know you may find it easier to sacrifice your own needs for me. B, if I ever ask something of you that goes against your principles, disrespects your time, or forces you to sacrifice something important, it's okay to say no. It does not have to be harsh, but please be assertive. I give her an A plus plus for that section right there. I think that is absolutely extraordinary and remarkable that she's aware that she might actually ask him to do something that he doesn't want to do and that he might feel compelled to do it anyway. It's possible she's recognizing that maybe in previous relationships she was that way and it didn't work. Like she tried to maybe guilt somebody into doing it or manipulate them. Possible. And she recognized that doesn't work. I'm going to do different. So please, if you say no to me and that's what you need to say, that's perfectly fine. I think it's remarkably generous, and it's a great sign of respect to say to somebody, "No is definitely an acceptable answer." Your thoughts, Elaine?
Well, I just find it interesting that we're putting clauses in this contract for things that I would just take as common knowledge, courtesy, whatever.
Oh, you mean like people respecting when you say no?
Boundaries,
Yeah.
like I don't know. So call me
Not so
crazy.
common.
But
Some
I
people
guess
don't
you got
have
to
them.
spell it out. You do have to spell it out for some people, and I guess maybe it's smart to do so. I don't know, but 2 weeks in, I don't know. I can't.
I know. So
Hey, listen, buddy. In case you don't know, let me spell it out for you. I mean, I guess I've been on plenty of dates where I probably should have just spelled out how the first date should go down.
Now you need a dating coach. You know anybody?
Instructions.
No, definitely instructions
How to
on
follow up after one too.
how to follow up.
What to do on the second date?
When to make her pay for the whole thing.
When, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Order extra so you can have some takeout food to bring home and make her pay for half so you have food for the week.
Oh, somebody's done that? That's brilliant. I should write that down and
Oh,
share
that's
with
a
my
tip.
clients.
That's a tip for the guy.
I should write that down and share with my clients. Oh,
Take
my
notes.
goodness.
Take notes. Yeah. It's a true
Well,
story.
I'll tell you one story before we go to the last bit of the article and wrap up here. I actually had this happen. I was dating and I was not looking for a relationship, and I said as much. And somebody managed to rope me into one in her mind anyway, and she kept calling it a relationship. I went to a family function, which I shouldn't have done. If you're not if you are not in a relationship with somebody, do not go to family functions. Just don't. But I went. There were aunts, uncles, cousins there, and she just kept introducing me as her boyfriend, Richard. So I had to break up a relationship that I did not even want to be in the first place.
You didn't start it. You didn't even
And
enter into it.
Mind you, I felt like a jerk when I ended it. Like, I felt like a jerk because she was really brokenhearted.
Well, you broke her heart somehow.
She was really brokenhearted, and I didn't even want to be in that relationship. And I said so, but
didn't matter. Didn't matter what you wanted. Yeah. Did not matter. There's some boundary issues there. I'm sensing.
I know. I need to read a book on boundaries, I think. This is my "you got me" grin. All right, let's go finish reading the 10 boundaries, and we'll wrap up the show.
I think we've said it all right now.
So prying, another thing here, prying. When I am ready to talk, I will. As you know, I go silent when upset. He knows this after 2 weeks of dating. That's pretty impressive.
Wow, and that's really healthy on her part.
She goes silent when she's upset. Okay, so I understand this can be concerning and stressful for you. However, prying and putting me on the spot can result in emotional outbursts and saying words I do not mean. So she's saying, if I shut down, give me some space. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about your mama.
You know how volatile I can be. You know I can be volatile, Richard. So just allow me the space.
As much as we're teasing about this and making fun of it, the thing to acknowledge about this is there's a really high level of self-awareness here.
Wow.
Yeah. 22.
Yeah.
How many of you had that kind of self-awareness at 22? There are people who are 52 and don't have that self-awareness.
No.
So there's something to be said for that. I still think it's too early to be going that deep into. I mean, where's the honeymoon phase? She killed the whole thing.
I don't know. It's the furthest thing from my mind at that age.
2 weeks. Let's enjoy that. Let's bask into that stuff too. And sure, let's talk about the practical stuff gradually over time. I think she's got. Aaron thinks it's an excuse. An excuse for what, Aaron? An excuse to be a basket case? What do you mean? So.
Excuse
I think those are things to
bail out of the relationship if he's stupid.
Deal with, but not 2 weeks in. I don't think 2 weeks in is, and I wish them the best. I wish that they have a long lasting relationship if that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still together.
To sort things through and be a cute old couple if that's what they want. But I think 2 weeks is just too much to go so into it. But those are our thoughts. As far as relationship contracts, generally speaking, I say nah. like written relationship
Wing it,
contracts.
wing it, just
I
wing
think
it.
I think that's excessive. But that's my thought. What are your thoughts? Would you want to be in a relationship where there's a written
No.
contract or written? I wouldn't mind written expectations. In
Well,
fact, write them down. Write them down for yourself. Like
yeah, that would be cool.
As you're finding what the person likes or dislikes, make a note of them. And
Well, at a certain age, your memory starts to deteriorate. It might
at a
be good to
certain
take
age,
notes.
my memory started disintegrating at 23.
Well, my
Not an
market,
age thing.
they're usually the over 50 crowd. So,
It's not an age thing.
yeah.
It can be, but that's what we think of this article. If this was a joke, that was a very long and elaborate joke on Miss Lady's okay. So
Yeah,
Aaron,
there you go, Aaron. Yep,
okay.
exactly.
But if this was
Yeah,
a joke,
well-
I think it was pretty elaborate. And but I think there's some truth to it, and I don't know. Again, I'm definitely against the idea of a relationship contract overall, but definitely going that deep, 2 weeks and it's too much. So that's my final thoughts on the whole thing. And we're curious to hear, would you get into a relationship contract? Have you ever had anybody try to do such a thing with you? And if you have that, might you just as well get married and just have a legal binding contract where the state is the third person in the bedroom?
So I totally believe people should state their intentions, however. Absolutely. Put it out there. I mean, so there's no misunderstanding that if one person's going to go sideways, you kind of get the idea that that's their intention, if they're, whatever, ethically non-monogamous as opposed to, going around and not telling the truth about it. We have a name for it now, ethically non-monogamous. Just come right out and be loud and proud about it if you're not going to be faithful. So, you write your own love story. That's what I say. People, you're in a relationship, you define it. You don't have to put it in writing, but maybe you should if you can't remember what it is that you discuss.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's a different one. That's like you've discussed it together, you've agreed on something, and you make a note of it. That would be one thing. But this here was definitely unilateral. This was what she expected.
Yeah.
And he said, well, let's talk about it and let's talk. So I don't know if there was any point where he got to amend things, or was it just, this is what I expect of you, this is what you can expect of me. Boom, take it or leave it. That was another piece we didn't talk about, but if it's just that way, definitely not. If it's something where you discuss things together after, maybe after some incident, you're like, well, how do we handle this in the future? Great. Or even before it happens, we just say, well, what would you like from me? And we create a little document, but more as a reminder than just, I'm gonna come get you for this. The word contract itself, just I think it has the opposite effect of Viagra.
What does that do?
My opinion. For Viagra, it's something that's good for the heart, honey. It just makes the heart beat a little faster. That's what it does.
Good. Okay, that's good. That sounds healthy.
Yes.
I'm all for healthy stuff.
Yes. And talking about contracts makes the heart beat slower.
It sounds like a drag. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Jack. Yeah. Good. I'm glad we understand each other. Okay, good. Everybody, this was our show. Thank you for watching. We talked today about relationship contracts. If you miss it, go back and watch it. Share it with your friends. Like the page. I can't say enough. Like the page. We want to have more people see this silly, fun, useful, hopefully, content that we are sharing. And before we go, Elaine Saunders, Intuitive Matchmaker, tell people where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Dynamic Introductions.
Very nice. This looks like a new fancy @ symbol. I don't recall it being that cute before. So you have a new fancy @ symbol. Hopefully your page is new and fancy as well. I know it is. DynamicIntroductions.com. That's where you can find Elaine Saunders. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for me, you can find me here at the Sound Yourself dating page. Send me a private message here, or you can go to grichard360.com. This is the place where you can find me. This is especially for you nice guys out there. Have you ever been called the N-word, gentlemen? nice. If you've ever been called a nice guy, been called you sweet, been told don't ever change by a woman you'd like to be kissing, but she's giving you handshakes and hugs instead, I'm the coach for you. We may not be able to change her mind, or turn her around, but we are going to turn you into a guy that women notice for the right reasons, and women would want to kiss you instead of just give you hugs. Would you like that? Get in touch. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Good night. Thanks for joining.